After a rough series against the Pacers, granted they did have injuries, but it was still rough nonetheless, the New York Knicks might need to make some changes here, and they seem to be active on the trade market, and they might be going all in next year. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, they did go all in last year trading for Mikal Bridges, but it seems like they have bigger aspirations here. They just fired their coach, and it seems like they want to have a little refresh, but not a restart, and they want to go big. They definitely notice how the East is wide open next year, as the Pacers are going to be not the same team with Tyrese Haliburton out. The Celtics traded away Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, along with Tatum's injury, which will have him out for about a year. They also know how the Bucks are not going to be the same team because Damian Lillard is going to be out for a year. So with all this, they're probably thinking of the East is wide open, and it is their time to take over, as they were in the conference finals last year. They lost in 6, but since the Pacers are out, I mean, Tyrese Haliburton's going to be out for a year. We don't really have expectations for the Pacers to run it back, so it might be the Knicks' time. But yeah, before we get into everything, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe like I always say. It helps me out so much. And this is an interesting video. You know, we don't really have a clear player that we're going to be talking about, but we just have the whole team that we're going to be focusing on, and that's the New York Knicks. And it starts off with a tweet from NBA Central saying Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson's names have come up in trade talks. And, you know, you may think this is just something, you know, light, not too heavy, but I mean, if you think about it, Mitchell Robinson and Mikal Bridges is a good, you know, package if you want to go for a bigger star. Obviously, those two are not going to get you an elite player, but they're going to get you an all-star type of player. And along with some first-round picks, that could definitely, you know, put you in the superstar category if you're really trying to go all in. And even though the Giannis trade speculation has gone down a little bit because Kevin Durant got traded, Desmond Bane got traded, you know, Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis got traded. So, you know, the Giannis situation has gone down, especially because, you know, it's seeming more likely that he might return to Milwaukee. But the possibility of Giannis being traded should not be off the table, as if the right offer comes, the Milwaukee Bucks should jump all over that, especially if a team's overpaying for Giannis. I know that's crazy to say, overpaying for Giannis, but, you know, if a team is willing to do that, then the Milwaukee Bucks need to consider that heavily. And, you know, from another tweet from Legion Hoops saying the Knicks, Heat, Warriors are reportedly among the teams interested in Giannis. That is something, you know, to know. I mean, obviously these teams have all been interested in Giannis for a while now, but the fact that they're still reportedly having interest and probably throwing out offers for Giannis, you know, makes us think, you know, is that Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson package going to be the one for the Knicks? And even if Giannis isn't the player that they go after, that package, along with some first-round picks, could still get some players who are on the market. You know, it could sneakily get a Devin Booker. We don't really know, you know, what the Suns are willing to do with Devin Booker now, because their team is all right now. They have a decent roster, but they don't have, you know, a team that's going to compete well in the West. So we could have them. You know, we also have Sabonis. Obviously, the Knicks are not looking for a guy who's more offensively focused because they need some defense there. But, you know, Sabonis is still one of the best centers in the league, and he is a good player that is slept on. And what about Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown could be a perfect backcourt match with Jalen Brunson. He's long, defensively focused, also a good offensive player. I know, I feel like he would just be what Mikal Bridges is right now, but just better and more consistent on the offensive end. There is a lot of really good players who could potentially be open on the market, and the Knicks having that Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson package along with some first-round picks could definitely entice some teams to give up one of their star players for that. And I know I made a video about this a couple days ago, but Jaren Jackson Jr. could also be that player. He's not a Giannis-level player. He's not going to also command as much value as Giannis would be in a trade. You throw in Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, maybe a first or two, that could probably get it done for the, you know, the Grizzlies, especially after Jaren Jackson's below-average playoff run against the Thunder. He did not perform well, and maybe the Grizzlies took note of that, and they're willing to trade him off for the right price. We also have Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. There is a lot of good players who could, you know, go for that offer. I feel like Bam Adebayo would go for that and not even any first-round picks. You throw in Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, maybe some seconds, or like a Deuce McBride or someone like that, and I feel like the Heat might even accept that. Maybe they're going to ask for a first-round pick, but maybe one at most. And I feel like Bam Adebayo would be a perfect match next to Karl-Anthony Towns. He brings defense. He also has a 3-ball now. That could be also a sleeper for the Knicks to go after. And something that's unrelated to the Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson trade package is also this. It's a tweet from NBA Central saying, I think the Knicks will also at least check in on Al Horford's situation in Boston, which could mean that they're trying to get a big and then go shoot for us like a wing type of player. Maybe that shifts their focus to not a guy who can, you know, play next to Karl-Anthony Towns in the front court, but, you know, someone who could play wing, someone who could play guard next to Jalen Brunson. Maybe they, you know, use that Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson package for a guard. Like I said earlier, Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, so many options. But yeah, y'all, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. If you're a Knicks fan, let me know who you guys would want to go after. Or if you guys want to just keep your team and run it back next year, that isn't a bad option because they're the second best team in the East last year, and the best team in the East almost won the NBA Finals if they're fully healthy. So The Knicks weren't far off last year, so they could just run it back. But if you also are a Knicks fan and want to go after a player, let me know down below in the comments who you guys would want to go after. NBA fans, let me know down below in the comments who you also think the Knicks should go after. What players do you think would be available for them to go after? Let me know all that down below. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe like I always say. It helps me out so much. And yeah, man, we out.